Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Back to the Franchise. We are the movie podcast where we watch movies and talk about them before the new movie comes out in that franchise. And we are still continuing our Spider-Man rundown. Today, we are doing The Amazing Spider-Man 2. But before we get there, let's introduce ourselves. I'm the laundry sheriff. It's me, Timothy Glenn. And I need to be the laundry sheriff, Tanner, because whenever I go to your apartment, your dryer is just clanging through all our movies.
Oh, I get like 1 day a week to do my laundry, so it's just you gotta make it happen when you're home.
Words to live by. And speaking of my co-host, he's a god named Sparkles. It's Tanner Wilcox.
Hey, hey. Tim, did you use an Aunt May quote for yourself?
No. That's what Peter says to her when she's, getting mad at him for doing his own laundry. He's like, "Okay, laundry sheriff."
Okay, all right.
But technically, yes, it's the same scene. Why were you disappointed in me?
No, I was surprised since you hate Sally Field.
I don't hate Sally Field. I just think she's kind of a nothing presence in these movies. I'm sad that we didn't get like the Sally Field assance, and this is all we've gotten really in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are talking about Amazing Spider-Man 2. The release date on this one was May 2nd, 2014. Directed by Mark Webb again, which we didn't mention last time. Very ironic name for directing a Spider-Man movie.
Mr. Webb.
Yep. Written by Alex Kurtzman, Roberto Orsi, and Jeff Pinker. Pinkner, excuse me. I think all new guys from the last movie. And guys, if you guys have not seen this movie before and you don't want to be spoiled, this is your warning. We will be going into spoilers for this entire episode. And we'll also be doing spoilers for any previous episodes we've already covered. So you guys have been warned. But Tanner, let's get into this. What is your history with this movie? How was your first time watching it? Time since, and this watch, etc.
I feel kind of bad because I don't remember if I watched this in theaters. I think I did. But it honestly was just kind of like forgettable to me.
Tanner, I know you did.
Oh, we watched it together.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, so sorry. Yes, I remember a super fun night going with my friend Tim to watch this in the movie theater.
That's me. I'm Tim.
Yeah, I don't know. It's fine. I like this one better than the first one.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still not my favorite. These Amazing Spider-Man movies are, I guess, just like a little like messy to me.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, since we're talking about when we saw it, I have a very distinct memory of when we saw it. I used to be really into this website, and it's still running. You can look it up. It's called Cinemorgue. And it basically, if you want to look up an actor, you can see, it'll show you like how many times they've died in what movies and how and who killed them, It's like a cool little neat index. And I remember, and I'm going to say this since we're in spoiler territory, I remember like that afternoon, but before we went to go see The Amazing Spider-Man 2, I looked up on that site, completely not looking for anything Spider-Man 2 related. And on the home page, there was an image of Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy in this movie. And I was so pissed off. I was like, motherfucker. And I know, oh, what do you expect? Gwen Stacy to live? That's the whole point of her character. But that was kind of part of the guessing game. I feel like this movie was playing with you as to whether or not it was gonna, that they were gonna do that. So to have me going into it knowing that and not even trying to seek it out, it was one of the most frustrating, movie spoilers I can remember.
I mean, I didn't know about Gwen Stacy's death going into this movie, and it was really shocking to me. That's probably the most memorable part of this movie for me.
Yes, and I think it's one of the parts that works better than other parts, in this movie. And in fact, not to spoil a movie we haven't talked about yet, but it would be pretty much the defining thing that would come back in the future of Spider-Man movies is that moment for this movie anyway. So that was my headset going into it. I liked it at the time, my first time seeing it. And every time seeing it since, I feel like, well, I don't want to get too into it because I'll save that for my review. But I can say that having just watched Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 with you, Tanner, that I would prefer to watch this movie, regardless of quality, over that one.
Me too.
I just think it's a more, I guess, fun movie to watch in terms of like a curiosity standpoint, you know? Um, and maybe we'll dive more into that when we talk about our rankings for Spider-Man at the end of this franchise recap. But anyway, just some quick thoughts. But let's dive into pre-production. Oh, I'm sorry, Tanner. I want to do a little bit of housekeeping for us before we move on.
Okay.
The last episode where we had Andrew on, I completely forgot to make you do a Barbenheimer.
Oh,
And so that's my bad. So I'm gonna make you do 2 this episode. So
okay.
it really quick. If you want to go into a Barbenheimer really quick, I got it for you. So let's go back to Amazing Spider-Man 1 really quick. So that movie, of the top 10 that we went over that weekend, it was released alongside Savages, the Oliver Stone, Blake Lively, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Salma Hayek crime thriller. Do you remember that one?
Oh, I do.
Yeah. Uh, one of the worst movie endings of all time, in my opinion. Not a terrible movie, but man, what were they thinking? Anyway, so Tanner, your Barbenheimer title for that is going to be Savage Spider.
Savage. Okay, well, it's obviously going to be in the vein of like monster B movie camp. I'm feeling like Eight-Legged Freaks,
Oh,
but just like a big spider. It's got to be one big one.
just one.
I mean, and sadly, like that's my simple pitch. I want Godzilla with just a spider, but what kind of spider? Because I don't like when they use like tarantulas. They're not spooky enough. So like Savage Spider, but like a Black Widow.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just going to mention because there is a movie called Tarantula from, I believe, 55 that is basically just a giant spider movie.
It's a tarantula, so it's kind of boring
Um,
because it just like moves slow. And I mean, I say that now. If I'm ever attacked by a giant tarantula, I'm sure I'll be scared enough.
speaking of giant tarantulas and eight-legged freaks, the part that always scared me from that movie was when that guy's like Radio Shack gets attacked by a giant tarantula in
Huh?
the desert. I was like, ugh.
Yeah, that movie actually as a kid I loved it, but it was so like fun scary. Like I was like scared of it, but like not really scared of it. I don't really know how to like describe it.
Yeah, that came out when I was like 8 or 9. I think I was 02, Eight-Legged Freaks. And that was PG-13, so one of the first I could watch horror movies. But it still freaked me out because, spiders.
Yeah.
Okay, but Tanner, before I'm sorry. I need one more thing from this pitch from you. Like, I can't just green light giant spider movie. Give me something. What is the selling point of this movie? What makes it different?
Well, let's see.
I've stumped Tanner. I've stumped
Savage.
Tanner.
I don't know. It's a savage spider. It goes on a killing rampage because it was accidentally dropped into a vat of nuclear waste, which made it highly aggressive.
I gotta say, I'm not buying a ticket to this movie yet. I'm sorry. I feel like I've seen this already.
Well, that's fine.
Okay.
Not every movie has to be for you, Tim.
All right. Well, you better make sure that your next Barbenheimer at the end of this episode is gonna be better than that.
Well, I mean, it's going to be hard. They both have the same title except for the number 2.
Well, you don't know what movie I'm mashing it up with, so.
Okay.
And I am trying to switch it up. I know a lot of them have been spider themed so far, but I'll preview for next week. Okay, so let's go back to Spider-Man 2, Amazing Spider-Man 2. So pre-production, let's dive back into the year of 2011, year of our Lord, where back when James Vanderbilt was hired to write the first Amazing Spider-Man movie alongside this one. He is not one of the credited screenwriters eventually on this movie. And eventually his draft will be rewritten by Roberto Orci, who we actually just lost, sadly enough, recently. rest in peace. Alex Kurtzman, who did they both did Orsi and Kurtzman did Star Trek Into Darkness. Did you ever see that?
Oh yeah, very good.
Really? I feel like the internet buzz on that one is mostly negative, but
The one with Benedict Cumberbatch as Khan.
yeah.
Oh, I think that's the best one.
Oh, okay. I'm also a pro Into Darkness fan, but I don't know. I just feel like a lot of people hate on that movie because it replays Wrath of Khan, but I don't mind that about it. And the last rewrite came from Jeff Pinkner on Spider-Man 2, who was known for developing Fringe. Did you watch that show?
No, but I had coworkers that were like obsessed with it.
Oh my god, yeah, I've gotten several rundowns from people about that show too. It's a very cult kind of show. Actually, now that I'm looking into it, that was also created by Alex Kurtzman and Roberto Orsi as well. So they're all kind of a package deal. The writing team on Spider-Man 2. Amazing.
Oh,
So anyway, let's that's kind of all I have for the original for the pre-production stage, because I mean, I guess they don't go with James Vanderbilt's screenplay eventually because he's not credited among the he's credited for a story but not for a screenplay. So I don't really know what the movie would have looked like with him. I know what the movie could have looked like in post-production, but that's a whole can of worms we're gonna save for later. So let's get into casting. So again, we got Andrew Garfield coming back as Peter Parker / Spider-Man, Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy, and the two big villains to cast for this movie, of course, are Max Dillon, aka Electro, and Harry Osborn, aka Green Goblin. But let's start with Electro. We got Jamie Foxx coming on this one, who kind of was going through a bit of a renaissance in his career after having just done Django Unchained, which I love that movie,
yes, very good.
and I love him in it. So I'm not surprised that they were like, "Hey, Jamie, you want to do this?" And then also that terrible Annie remake in the same year,
Oh God.
which I haven't seen, but we talked about that because that came up on a DVD preview when I was hanging out at your house.
Yeah, it's not good. I hate to say it. I like the people in it. I like Jamie Foxx. I like Rose Byrne. I like Cameron Diaz, and they're like all bad in it.
Still haven't seen it, but Annie was ever my favorite musical anyway. Um, okay, but let's play a little game of yay or nay. So we do get Jamie Foxx in this, but we could have also gotten Tanner, and I'm not even sure you're going to recognize this name when I say it, but Jean Dujardin.
The guy from The Artist.
Oh, good. Look at okay. I'm glad you got that. Thank you, Tanner.
I'm cultured.
I was just gonna say, I don't give you enough credit.
Hmm. I'm gonna say. Well, I'm gonna say nay.
Yeah, I mean, for this portrayal of the character, I don't see him. I feel like you'd have to completely change the, you know,
Yeah.
archetype. But yeah, he did The Artist, and then he was in The Wolf of Wall Street the year before, and now I don't even know if he's even on the map anymore. I mean, I'm sure he's still doing French movies, but in terms of American stuff, I haven't seen him in forever. Did he win the Oscar for The Artist? I always forget.
I don't remember. I remember that the artist won Best Picture.
It did, but I don't think it won. Did it win acting? Yeah, he did win acting. He won Best Actor. Okay.
Oh,
And it's just kind of weird. Like he wins an Oscar and then he kind of disappears. But anyway, yeah. Okay. Sorry. Back to Yernay. Uh, and because this is a villain role, you have to include the obligatory Mads Mikkelsen.
nay.
Really?
Yeah.
And lastly, I have Damian Lewis of Homeland at the time.
The redhead guy.
Yeah.
No. Nay. Hard nay.
Okay. That's all I got. Yeah, not a
Which is
huge.
really too bad because I don't love Jamie Foxx in this role either.
Yes, me neither. But again, who could have made this work?
Yeah, like I think the bigger problem is just the character anyway. I don't really think it's like a Jamie Foxx problem.
No, me neither. I mean, it's a Jamie Foxx comb over problem, but
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I wouldn't necessarily recast him with anybody on this list either. I might like to recast him. Is there anybody in your head, since you named everybody, is there anybody in your head that could have done this version of Max Dillon slash Electro better than Jamie Foxx off the top of your head?
I don't. I don't know. I feel like any kind of like meek, like mousy guy could have done it well because it's not like there's to me there's not really like a whole lot to this character.
No,
He's just kind
but
of like a sniveling loser.
first thing that comes to mind, just throw it out there.
I don't know, like Giovanni Ribisi.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I like that. I mean, he fits that arc or character.
That's like kind of like who I'm picturing, like somebody like him.
Okay, I'm for it. And he's a native New Yorker, isn't he?
I don't know.
He definitely seems like someone who would be like in the bowels of Oscorp fixing, you know,
Yes.
electrical wiring. So,
Yeah.
oh yeah, let's move on to Harry Osborn. So we get Dane DeHaan, which to talk about really quickly, they just hire him to do the same thing he did in Chronicle. Which
But with like a
Chronicle,
worse but with a worse script and a worse character.
yes, and Chronicle, hey, great movie, you know, and he actually works in that movie. He does well for that character, but
Yep.
I don't feel like he's ever. I don't want to bash on Dane DeHaan's career, but he's never really hit that high since. Still a lot of chances, but
Yeah, I'd agree. Like I don't dislike Dane DeHaan. I don't but I don't like love him either. But I really don't like him in this.
I mean, he kind of fits like the rich boy Harry persona, you know,
Yeah.
especially with his terrible haircut. Oh my god.
Tim, I'm glad you're catching on because usually it's me that has to talk about bad hair and makeup, and you're just always like, whatever, I have wig blindness. Um, Not that this is a wig, but I'm glad that I'm rubbing off on you because he has bad hair and you should notice it more in people.
Well, it's just that this movie is 12 years old now, and I don't know if that hairstyle was like with the bangs crossover and then the short sides was ever in, but like it's not in now. And
Mm,
I don't
yeah.
know. It Andrew Garfield's hair, on the other hand, in this movie looks great.
It's so much better than the first one.
Yeah. He definitely found a comb. Okay, so let's play Year and Name for Harry Osborn. So let's start with Sam Claflin of the Hunger Games.
Yay.
Okay. I like that. Brady Corbet. Do you know who that is?
Nope.
He was in Funny Games, the remake.
Oh,
I think
I know who you're talking about now.
he was not Michael Pitt. Michael Pitt was the main bad guy in that one. He was like the underling guy.
Yeah.
And
Um, I'll say yay, just because he's kind of like a sniveling little white kid.
yep, fits the part. And actually, Brady Corbet is probably best known for being a director now because he just did The Brutalist a couple years ago, which was a huge
Oh.
Oscar movie. So, but back then he was an actor. And this is a name we've thrown around a lot lately. Alden Ehrenreich.
Oh, you know, I love him, but not for this.
Yeah, I think he's too likable.
Yeah.
Boyd Holbrook, who just did The
Hoyt
Host.
Bulbrook. It just sounds like generic white names.
Sure.
I don't know who that is.
He had just done The Host before this, that bad Saoirse movie
Oh,
written
the
by
Stephanie Meyer.
Twilight Lady. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Nay.
He was eventually the bad guy in Logan. If you remember that one, if you remember him in
Yeah.
that movie,
Yeah.
the guy with
I don't remember him
the
in that
robot
movie.
hand. Okay,
No.
okay, yeah, I think he's a little too old personally, but okay, not generic white guy, Michael B. Jordan.
Yay. Although he seems like a little too cool for this part.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean,
Especially
I guess he
like,
could do it though because I feel like Jamie Foxx outside of this is like generally perceived as like a cool guy.
yeah,
So I mean, yeah, I'll say yay.
he's definitely one of the better actors on this list.
Yeah.
And lastly, speaking of good actors, Eddie Redmayne of Les Mis.
Oh, yay.
All right. And you know what? I was actually thinking, like, is Eddie Redmayne too old this time to be playing? But no, he's like right around Andrew Garfield's age. So if
Yeah.
if Garfield's not too old, then neither is he. So he definitely has like that kind of like rich guy persona to him. Like he can bandy that about a little bit.
Yeah, but he also would have been believable as like a childhood like dork friend of Peter Parker, you know?
Mhm. Yeah.
Like I would
Whereas
buy that.
Dane DeHaan does not come off dorky at all in this.
No,
Like,
I have a really big problem because I'm like, I don't know why these two are friends.
uh, yeah, I was gonna bring that up later, but we might as well talk about it now. Again, and we talked about it with James Franco and Tobey Maguire in the first trilogy, is that they've yet to sell me on Peter and Harry being like actually good friends.
I just don't understand why anybody, because I'm sorry, like if Norman Osborn is the head of like a multi-billion-dollar corporation, he's not going to send his kid to a New York public school. I
Well, they
just
never.
don't. It's not going to happen. He's going to be like an Ivy League prepper.
Well, at least in the Raimi movies, they explain that he got like kicked out of every private school he went to for like
Yes,
one line. But in this movie, there's no explanation to how they know
but at
each
least
other.
but like that one line is important because otherwise you'd be like, why is he in this shitty public school?
But here you have no like it just says like, oh yeah, Peter and Harry were friends when they were kids. How? How did they even meet? Like I don't know. No, no,
Yeah,
no.
like they're probably not going to be in the same school. They're not going to be in the same social circle, like with their family. They're not in the same like economic bracket. The only thing that makes sense is if they were both like science kids that they would have met at like a science camp or like a fair or like, something.
But Harry doesn't present himself as being that smart in
No, and
this.
Harry doesn't even really like, he's not like a sciencey kid in this. So it's like, I don't know.
And honestly, Peter at times doesn't present himself as being that smart either.
No.
Anyway, um, okay, so you said yay on Claflin, Corbet, and Jordan and Redmayne. Of
Yeah.
those, you can recast Dane DeHaan. Which one would you choose?
Oh, probably Eddie Redmayne.
Okay, interesting. I thought you were gonna go Claflin personally, but
I love Sam Claflin, but no, I mean, he seems more like he could be like the rich boy too.
mhm.
But I don't know. They both would have been fine.
Hopefully, if Redmayne got it, he wouldn't have given us his villain from Jupiter
Oh,
Ascending.
Jupiter Ascending? God, that's the most heinous voice ever.
I create life.
But
Okay,
he can't create like a vocal cord replacement.
I feel like we've already made fun of that on a previous
I
episode,
think
but I can't.
we have already made fun of this.
Okay, moving on. So coming back is Campbell Scott, also as Richard Parker, with a lot more flashback time. We've got Colm Feore, who was previously in Thor as Donald Macon, aka generic Oscorp bad guy. Paul Giamatti as the Rhino, aka Alexis Sevich. And this is so weird because, like, I'm pretty sure he campaigned for this part long before this was even happening. Like, he just wanted to play the Rhino in a Spider-Man movie at some point. And they're like, yeah, okay.
Which is so weird.
I mean, he's having fun on screen. I can give him that.
Sure, yeah.
So good for you, Paul, I guess. We'll talk about more about him later. But Felicity Jones playing not Black Cat yet in this movie, but playing the character Felicia Hardy. Right before she blew up, too, because I think she gets an Oscar nom for Speaking of Eddie Redmayne, The Theory of Everything this year, later on.
Oh yeah.
And then, of course, we mentioned Sally Field as May Parker. We've also got Miss Honey herself, Embeth DeWitz. I always forget to look up the pronunciation for that. As Mary Parker. We've got Martin. Oh, God, I should have looked this one up too. Martin Sokas. Sokas? The Csokas
Yeah.
as Dr. Ashley Kafka.
The guy who's the bad guy from Triple X, and he's also Lord Celeborn in Lord of the Rings, yeah?
Don't ask me that. I don't. Which Triple X?
The original. The first one. He's the Russian guy, like Yuri.
I don't know. I just forget.
I'm right. He's the bad guy in Triple X, and he's Galadriel's husband in Lord of the Rings.
Google just told me it's pronounced Martin Kasokas, which I feel like is too literal. But while I'm here, Embeth Embeth David. That didn't help me. Okay, moving on. And oh god, yeah, his dumb German and I will experiments on you and find out all your secrets. Just dumb,
Yeah.
generic
Horrible.
evil scientist. Could have done without that. Speaking of future villains, BJ Novak from The Office showing up as Alistair Smythe for a hot second. Are you familiar with? Since we're probably not gonna talk about it later on in the review section, but are you familiar with the character Alistair Smythe in the comics?
No, I was just gonna say, what a really like fancy, imposing name for like such a weenie character.
Yes. Alistair Smythe, I think, is he either he's the father or the son of a different character named Smythe. Yes, son of Spencer Smythe. And they are integral in the comics of creating these quote unquote spider slayers, these robots that go after Spider-Man. So I guess they're probably setting us something up there in future amazing Spider-Man movies, but didn't get that. Anyway, another thing that they could have ditched from this movie. Sorry, BJ. You got Skylar Gisondo coming back for a hot second, playing Howard Stacy of the Stacy clan in the background of scenes, basically. Um, and Chris Cooper playing Norman Osborn as a red herring villain for one scene. Which didn't we talk about him for? I think Doc Ock for Spider-Man 2, right?
Yep. Yeah.
As a possible candidate, and I think he works here for as Norman Osborn really quick. I mean, one scene, but he's definitely a like really slimy, gross presence with his giant nails.
Yeah, I agree. I'm fine with him.
And coming back as cameo form, we've got Ghost Dad himself, Dennis Leary as George Stacy, to just stand in front of green screens and look solemn in this movie. You got Stan Lee as the graduation guest, of course, obligatory Stan Lee. Michael Massey again playing the pre-credits villain, the gentleman, again for no payoff again.
I was gonna say for no apparent reason.
And Tanner, I had already done the legwork for this podcast guide before we actually watched it, and so I pointed it out to you. I was like, Tanner, who is that woman playing the Statue of Liberty? And you got it.
Yeah, Aidy Bryant.
Yeah, Aidy Bryant shows up for a hot second. One of the most popular SNL alum. Is she still on SNL?
No, she's been off of it for years.
Okay. I don't watch that much, but I did remember we looked up like if she was on it at the time of this, and she was barely just started. So
Yeah.
anyway.
She's great.
Yeah. Okay, so that's all I got for people in the movie. So let's move on to filming. So principal photography, this one starts in February of 2013 and runs till June of 2013. And Tanner, this is we talked about a lot in the last 4 Spider-Man movies that we've covered, that they keep going back between LA and New York, and then Cleveland randomly. This is actually the first movie that is filmed entirely in New York of the Spider-Man saga.
Really?
Yeah. They made it work, which is, I feel like it's a hard thing to do for a big blockbuster action movie to film in New York City, but they got it done.
Wow.
And when I say New York, I mean the state of New York, not necessarily the city, because they do film that quick opening car chase sequence in Rochester because they gave him a tax break or whatever. I forget, but the rest of it they do film in New York City. They film in the Bronx, SUNY Maritime College, subs in for Ravencroft Institute, where Max is experimented on as the Electro. Again, Peter's house is in Brooklyn, in Manhattan. They also film in Chinatown. Hearst Tower again is Oscorp. The Rhino sequences in Manhattan, and then of course Times Square, the Electro fight, and then Gwen's funeral in Queens. So yeah, they definitely get some New York representation in this movie.
Nice.
I'm sure Andrew is happy about that. Probably one of the few things he could be happy about. And yeah, that's kind of all I have to say about the filming aspect of this. So quick segment there. But I do have, surprisingly, usually the post-production segment is very short, but we have a lot to talk about post-production in this podcast episode. But let's start with the score as usual. So James Horner, God rest his soul before he passes away, declines to return for this movie, and instead we get Hans Zimmer coming on board, the legendary one and only.
Wow.
Do you want to talk a little about Hans Zimmer's score, Tanner?
I don't know that much about it. I feel bad because I feel like, again, like this movie doesn't have like a super memorable score for me.
Mm-hmm.
Hans Zimmer in general, though, love.
Mm-hmm.
Does anything like in particular stand out to you in this movie that like sounds different than the other ones?
Having just watched them back to back, these two amazing Spider-Mans, I mean,
Uh-huh.
it's still not Danny Elfman good. I will say that. But I do think this is an improvement on the first Amazing Spider-Man movie. I think that it's a little bit more propulsive, the energy, and sorry, no pun intended with Electro, but um, like I do feel this movie, this score kind of humming along a little bit more in terms of like building up tension and like because it's this movie. Even though I mentioned how I was uh, upset to be spoiled by it, I do feel like this movie is playing with you in terms of your expectations. Like, is Gwen gonna die? Is she in danger? All that kind of stuff, especially for
Mm-hmm.
comic fans. And I do feel like the score amplifies that. Again, no pun intended for Electro. But so I do feel like the score works in that regard. Um, I will say if you're saying standout, there are two things I hate about the score. Well, actually, one thing I hate about the score, and one thing I kind of guiltily like. First one, I hate Max Dillon's like dopey score.
Oh yeah.
And when I say that, I mean like pre-Electro, him being delusional score, where you had like
Like the woodwind instruments that are like
yeah, it feels like you could play that for like Dopey from Snow White, like
yeah.
it just and one of the criticisms of this movie is that Max as a character is so unconvincing and borderline, I don't want to say offensive, but he does kind of give off the impression that he might be on the spectrum somewhere, and that it feels like it kind of like fetishizes his social awkwardness a little bit too much,
Yeah, I would agree with that though.
and that makes me uncomfortable. Like not necessarily from a PC standpoint necessarily, but like from a narrative standpoint of me trying to respect this character and his arc in the movie. I feel like it almost kind of devalues that, you know? It makes it seem less like I should take it less seriously.
Yeah, I would say I agree.
Okay, and the other thing, and this is the one of the things I'm going to be a little bit of an apologist for. I kind of dig the dubstep.
Oh, okay, so for you guys who don't know, post electro transformation, every single time that Max uses his electric powers, it's not like the background noise of like electricity. It's always like dubstep behind it. Like this just like like, and if it's not like a dubsteppy tone, it sounds like a theremin. And I'm like, what is this? Because that's one of the things that I think really ages this movie. Because I think when this movie came out, I liked it. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool that they like layered his power sound effect with like dubstep kind of or like electro music. And now I really hate it. I feel like it makes it feel really cheesy and really old.
Okay, to give a little bit of context of where we were in 2014 as a music appreciative society, dubstep was definitely at its height. Maybe not 2014, but like early 2010s, like 2011.
100% 2014. Where this is like peak chain smokers, Tim.
I don't even know what that is. I'm sorry.
Everybody was listening to that shit.
I was very into dubstep in the early 2010s. Like Skrillex, Far Too Loud, Knife Party. That was all my jam. And I'll still put it on every once and again if I'm on a treadmill or whatever. But I like dubstep as a genre. I know people give it grief today, like as like a dumb, try hard kind of electro music.
Yeah.
I'll still go to bat for it, even though it's its time in the zeitgeist has come and gone. I like it only in this movie, especially in the final battle sequence. I like it in the sense that it amplifies it complements his powers, you know? It and it makes sense because like he's an electric villain. This is kind of electric music kind of thing, you know? And then Peter even acknowledges like I hate this song in the in the fight that he has with Electro. Um I don't think they overdo it either, which if the whole fight was that, then I could see it. But, I don't mind it. I can tell you what I could do without though is the little like electro uh rap in his head where he's like the voice in his head is talking about how he should kill everybody or whatever.
Yeah.
That I would take out. Okay, that's all I have to say about the score. I mean, that was my little piece of I'm gonna be a little bit more of an apologist of the movie going forward,
That's
but
okay. That's okay.
I'll start there because that's one of the things that people make fun of it for all the time. I'm not saying it's great. It's definitely not Hans Zimmer's best score, not by a long shot. But I do think the movie benefits from having him on board as a very, a veteran composer. Okay, now let's get into the post production stuff that we normally don't cover, which is deleted material. And they cut a lot from this movie, despite how long it is at 142 minutes. They cut a shitload from this movie. In fact, they cut a whole goddamn character. They cut Mary Jane Watson herself, played by Shailene Woodley, in a couple scenes.
Hmm. So, Tim, how were they going to originally introduce MJ in this one? Do you know? Or is that like common knowledge?
I think they've kept tight-lipped on this one because Mary Jane, I remember this was a hot story the year before it came out because people saw online Shailene Woodley on set. Not necessarily in scene, but on set with the red hair and whatnot. And if I remember correctly, she was not in makeup in these, behind the scenes photos that were, snapped of her by, reporters or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And the internet had this huge field day of like, oh, you're taking Mary Jane, one of the hottest women of all of comics, and making her frumpy. And which was a complete overreaction. Because number one, Shailene Woodley,
Is
very
not
cute,
not frumpy.
very cute girl. I mean, she had done the Descendants at this point. That was her big breakout, and she did the Spectacular Now. And this is the same year we get what is it? Fault in Our Stars. And
Yes.
she's very cute in all those movies, And I don't think that changes if you give her red hair.
No, please. That girl's cute dying of cancer.
So I feel like there was like, so sorry, long story short, to answer your question, Tanner, I feel like there was a lot of like very negative backlash from the toxic fandom, as you see with all these properties.
Uh huh.
And I think, I mean, I don't know if that was their only motivation for cutting her from the movie, but I do think that was their motivation for not releasing a lot of the footage of Mary Jane and her storyline as how it would have played into this, you know?
Okay.
So to answer your question, I don't entirely know how she would have factored into the story because, again, and maybe this is why they cut her because she's not essential. You know, she would have been a tease for future movies, mostly as a
Yeah.
future love interest of Peter's. And the movie definitely doesn't miss her presence either. So it probably was the right choice from a storytelling perspective to cut her. And I think one of the reasons they do, or at least one of the reasons they say they do, is that they wanted to focus more on Gwen, which I can appreciate.
Yeah. I get that too.
Also, like, can you imagine, like, if the whole movie you're like wondering, like, oh, are they going to kill Gwen Stacy? And then in comes like future love interest. And then you're like, well, now I don't care anymore because I know it's going to happen.
Yeah, which is maybe why I think they decided to keep her.
To keep, to what?
To keep did I say keep her?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. To cut her. Cuz yeah,
Yeah.
I think it does take away from like the impact of like Gwen and Gwen's death in this movie. Cuz if you have another love interest like already in the picture, then it's kind of like, "Oh, okay, well we can move on to Gwen and or move on from Gwen and go to MJ."
Mm-hmm. Um, yeah. So I don't, I think Shailene Woodley would have been a good choice for Mary Jane, but I don't necessarily need her in this movie.
Yeah, agreed.
The movie's overstuffed as it is anyway. So, but they also, and this one's, I'm not so sure about, they cut Richard Parker being alive. They were going to reveal after the third act of this movie, after the climax, when Peter is visiting Gwen's grave, there was a whole scene shot of his father coming back and revealing that he is alive. He survived the plane crash, and they cut it.
You know, Tim, I don't think I need that.
Okay.
I mean, I wish we would have got it because I hate that there's like the unresolved storyline of his parents in these first two movies because clearly we don't get any resolution with that.
No.
Um, but I feel like I don't care about his parents enough. And like, what is the point of him coming back? Is what like, what is he going to bring to Peter that's like detrimental to the story? You know, like
So as opposed to Shailene Woodley's scenes that were cut, his scene at the end is online. You can watch it. And it's the purpose he serves at the end of the story is to inspire Peter, who is mad at him for, of course, being MIA for the last, what, 10 plus years, but to inspire him to go back to being Spider-Man after however many months it's been. And the reason they cut it was because they didn't want Peter to seem like I guess, like a daddy's boy who can't make decisions on his own at the end to come back. And rather, instead of being inspired by his dad, he's inspired by Gwen's graduation speech, which they set up at the beginning with him missing it and having it on his hard drive, you know?
yeah,
And that's what gets him out of his is it's simultaneously the loss of Gwen puts him away for a while, but then she's also what brings him back. So that was their ultimate thinking for cutting Richard Parker at the end.
which I think I like. I mean, I like that they give that inspiration to Gwen because it makes her. I don't know. I mean, it makes her character a little more relevant. I think,
Yeah,
or I guess her sacrifice.
I agree. To a point, however. I the reason I kind of wish they kept the Richard Parker scene is I feel like this movie needed a bookend with where it started, you know? Because the movie starts with him as the focal point, with him and Mary on the plane, you know? And then you get a whole movie of Richard's secrets, basically, with the subway, train, lab, and whatnot. So I guess I just wanted a little bit like to bookend the movie too with him because you know, yes, it's too much to explain in this movie what he was actually doing all this time and why he went into hiding and why he was supposedly killed in the first place. It would have been a lot to explain at the end of this movie. But I guess I just wanted a little bit something more. I don't know. And who's to say that you can't have both, right? That you can't have Richard's return and Gwen being the inspiration for Peter.
Maybe. I guess I prefer Richard to stay incognito,
Where's Cognito?
in hiding.
Where's hiding?
I literally only said that so that you would hopefully catch that joke, and I'm glad you did. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad we actually got that one right this time.
All right.
I think what was it, the first episode we did where I forced it and it didn't work at all.
Yeah, no.
Okay, all right. You're welcome, Sweet Life fans. Yeah, and I'm also one of those kind of movie watchers where I hate dangling plot threads that never get resolved between movies that you know are planned.
I just get mad at studio. I'm sorry. I have to go on a Tanner tangent. Uh, and I know, like, whatever. Movies are just a numbers game. They don't care about the people or what they want. I get really upset when people have planned movie series and they're like, "Oh, this one actually didn't make like quite as much money, so we're just gonna scrap the whole thing. We're gonna throw away everybody's hard work. We're gonna like punish these actors by not letting them finish their fucking multi-film contracts, and we're gonna just like shit on the fans and say, who cares? We don't care. We don't care that you don't get any resolution with this, and it makes it a shitty, sloppy ending. We just don't care because we wanted more money, and I'm just mad about it. So I think that's probably why I like subconsciously maybe like don't like these movies or don't care about them because I'm like, well, they're not like a finished story, so why does it matter?
You know what I was thinking when we were watching this is, you know, what would be cool because, like, I get it. Like, this is a business. You know, you got to make money. Marvel came calling with the MCU, and we'll talk about next week, of course, how that goes. And I wouldn't trade that necessarily for Amazing
Sure.
Spider-Man 3. But like, and I was thinking about this while we are watching this movie is, man, wouldn't it have been cool if they were like, okay, sorry guys, we can't give you a movie resolution, but maybe here's a comic, like a graphic novel, perhaps resolution, so we can tell the story of where we were going to go with this, but we just can't do it in movie form. Like it'd be
Yeah.
like a little consolation prize, I guess. I don't know, and I'd
Yeah.
read it.
Sure.
I'd read it if it was a resolution to this. Maybe get the writers from these movies to tell what they were going to tell. But lastly, they actually did add a sequence. They didn't just delete stuff. They did add a sequence in post production. They filmed Harry's prison sequence where he's in jail, and you get Mr. Secret cameo tease walking in and talking to him about setting up a Sinister Six. And the reason they
So
added that, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so dumb. I hate it.
The reason they added it though is they test audiences were not sure what happened to Harry after the clock tower fight. Like, in
Oh
terms of
yeah,
like
because
did
he
he
kind of just like the clock like breaks apart and he kind of just goes like ugh, and like flies into the side of the building and then it doesn't show him again.
he gets knocked out, yeah.
Huh.
And you're not really, yeah. And from that point of view, I get it. Because I would be asking the same question, like what happened to Harry? You
Yeah.
know? Um so I agree with the decision to add a scene with him. I don't know if it just makes me more mad now that they went with this route and we didn't get any of that resolution later on. But anyway. All right, well, let's move on to the review section of the podcast. So, Tanner, anything else that you want to talk about for this movie we can dive into?
Uh Tim, I think I've fleshed out my frustrations. This movie's fine. I like it better than the first Amazing Spider-Man.
Mhm.
I just wish I liked it more. Again, like I think that Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone are great together. I think their chemistry is great. I'm glad they gave Gwen more to do in this movie. Um, uh, like, but I don't love either Harry or Electro, like in this movie, like how they're done. And I get they were trying to do something different, and that's fine. It's just not really like a hit for me.
Hmm.
I feel like this movie feels too long by about
Hmm.
20 minutes. And I don't know. Yeah, it's just average to me. This is like a 6 out of 10 movie.
Well, why don't we start with the structure, because I think that's one of its biggest issues. This does run 2 hours 22 minutes, and it's so weird because you get the opening of this movie with the plane crash, which, cold open, I guess you could say. And then you get your first Spider-Man action sequence with him stopping the robbery with pre-Rhino um Giamatti.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, hate that sequence. Peter lets so many people die because he's busy quipping in the beginning with Alexi in the window. Meanwhile, people are getting T-boned on the street in their cars. We get two quick action scenes, and then you go, what, like an hour without its action sequence? Like, you get the Electro Times Square scene, which also I don't like. And then you go like another hour, and then you get the climax. And that's it for action, which is weird for like such a long movie, like ratio wise,
Yeah.
to not get that many set pieces.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think that speaks to just how much plot there is in this movie. Like, too much plot.
Yeah, too much plot, too many characters.
Yeah. It's kind of like Spider-Man 3 all over again, where it's just this trying to do too many things, where you have Electro stuff, and then Electro gets immediately captured, and then we kind of forget about him for a while. And now we're dealing with Harry, and then them together. The problem for me, though, is that the first half of this movie is significantly worse than the second half of this movie.
Why?
I just, and I was feeling this way watching it. I was kind of like, oh, this is not holding up. Like, this is even worse than I remember throughout the first act, just because I feel like everything's kind of ho hum about it. And then you don't, it's not until like Harry breaks Electra out of prison that I start feeling like the stakes are rising, and the movie's actually gaining momentum instead of like constantly stopping and starting, stopping, starting, stopping and starting, you know? And I start to get more into the movie after that. So the parts that I like of this movie are the back half, basically.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I will not defend, though, the final scene. The final scene.
Yeah, I can't stand Alexi's I think it's cool that they're first of all, it's one, okay, I'm all over the place. It's not cool that you're gonna tease the Sinister Six and then be like, yeah, the first guy we're gonna break out of here, the Rhino. Cause I'm like, well, he is just one, I don't even think he's an original member of the Sinister Six. And he's just kind of lame. Plus, the way they portray him in this as Paul Giamatti's CGI floating head in the middle of a metal rhino body, can't stand it. It looks horrible.
I can't stand it.
I can't stand him.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it would have been better if we actually had gotten a Sinister Six movie or the Amazing Spider-Man 3 with Rhino, like they were teasing, an actually good version. Then we wouldn't like bash on this for not giving it to us. But yeah, I mean, it's just it's silly. It feels like a weird note to end on, especially when you're trying to make it this like inspiring ending of Peter coming back to the old grind and inspiring the city, but you have this like villain who's just so like I don't even know if I want to see that fight, honestly, because the Rhino design of the mech he's in doesn't work. It's just it's clanky, and I don't even know how they would even film that sequence to begin with. Like it's just bad, and it's not really that comic accurate either. You know,
Yeah, no, not at all.
like I would have preferred, I would have preferred Craven the Hunter Rhino than this Rhino. That's saying something.
Yeah.
I also don't like this freaking kid who's like, Mom, there's a standoff downtown. Let me get my Spider-Man outfit. We go watch it.
Oh, I was so mad. I'm like, what kind of shitty mom is this?
Yeah,
Who's just like, oh, an Avengers level threat in the middle of Broadway? Let's go down on the sidewalk with my 5-year-old child. Like, no way.
this giant mechanized rhino's got rocket launchers. Let's go watch.
Stupid.
Yeah, I like the stuff with that kid before the movie where he saves that kid from the bullies, but no. But while we're bashing villain designs, can we talk about the Green Goblin design?
Green Goblin's like chlamydia design.
Yeah, possibly even worse. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna give him some like green tinted skin and some open sore scabbing. Like, gross.
And I get they were going for like it's like amplifying his like weird disease or whatever. But I just feel like they haven't really. I mean, and I'll defend the first movie's Green Goblin design, but I feel like this is just another symptom of the fact that they don't really know how to portray the Green Goblin on screen in a way that is also faithful enough, I guess you could say, to the
Yeah.
comics. I mean, I know it doesn't make sense to like have like this Ren Fair villain be throwing like pumpkin bombs, but this is not the answer.
And then part of me is like, okay, if that's the case too, if you can't like accurately do it, then just step away from Green Goblin. There's a ton of other villains.
And like Harry's demeanor too, where he's like seething, like he's like also doesn't work. I just and I like that sequence otherwise in terms of the stakes and the execution of it and the fight itself for as quick as it is.
Yeah.
But God, the portrayal of the goblin, it just doesn't work. But how do you feel about Electro in terms of how, like, forget about Max's like nerdy, like socially awkward archetype. How do you feel about Electro in this movie?
Like Electro in general or just Electro overall in this movie?
Like Electro in this movie.
I don't love it. I mean, I think that Electro's original costume is very like circusy. So
Mm-hmm.
like there's not like a great way to do that. But I feel like this one was too, I don't know, I didn't love like the blue. Like that he's always just kind of this like live wire
Mm-hmm.
person. Um, I don't know. Like I guess it's fine. It's not how I would have done it though.
Mm-hmm. I I should mention that it is very reminiscent of the Ultimate Electro design from the Ultimate Spider-Man comics from the 2000s, which I started to read, but then it kind of dropped off. Um, he is very like blue in that one, and yeah, I agree. Like you can't do the like green Electro suit with the like the yellow star on his head, believably. It's just not
Yeah.
possible.
No, it
Maybe
just doesn't look great.
no, maybe something in between, but yeah, it wouldn't fit in a live action like this. So, um, I don't hate it in terms of what we got. I think in some points in the beginning, it keeps Jamie Foxx from really emoting very well, but it's not the worst. And I do like the final fight with him. I think the first fight is terrible with him. Like
Mm.
the zoom in, the slow mo, everybody not touching the railing on that staircase is horrible.
Oh yeah.
But the what do you call it? The electrical grid fight, good enough for me.
Yeah.
Even though that also does use a little bit too much slow motion, but forgive it for that. I mean, Electra's it's kind of a hard villain to do in live action, a lightning man, you know. But
I don't know.
Um,
I just think I prefer like Max's like original storyline. You know, like I feel like he would have worked better instead of this like mousy guy. Make him like a, I mean, like a disgruntled like blue collar guy because he starts out as a lineman originally and he gets struck by lightning and that's how he
mhm,
gets his powers. And it's almost like, not to spoil the next Spider-Man movie, but like the I guess motivation for that group of villains with like the Vulture is that they're just kind of like blue collar everyday Americans that get stuck like footing the
y-
bill for superheroes, right?
that's the first thing I thought of when you said blue collar was Vulture.
Yeah, like I just, and I guess maybe I like that approach to it better, is that there might have been a better way to just make him uh, and maybe it doesn't matter so much because he's not like Max for very long, but he's just so unlikable and
Hmm.
like dweeby annoying in this. And like we said, like the way that they leaned into that is almost offensive.
Hmm. It's
And I
getting
think
there.
I would have liked it more if he had just been like somebody who was disgruntled by Oscorp. You know, maybe he's their lead electrician or lead lineman or whatever, and he gets fired or replaced or, you know, I almost think I
Yeah,
would have liked that better than to have this like weird friendship obsession.
yeah. You know, the way they portray him, it almost kind of strips him of a lot of agency because he's so diluted. You know
Yeah.
that you don't take his desires seriously. You know his motivation very seriously, especially when he becomes Electro and he starts to feel like Spider-Man's taking his spotlight. He's not really being seen even then, and that turns him into like a an actual villain. And yeah, I agree that character arc is not that compelling.
Yeah. I don't, it's like I don't care about him enough because you're like, whatever. He's like this weird, crazy guy.
Yeah. Did you ever see Lawnmower Man?
Uh-uh.
It kind of reminds me of that. of of I think his name's Job in that movie.
Oh.
If you know, you know. But yeah, and it's hard because I feel like they wanted to make Electro their main villain, but then they kind of also just shafted him with a lot of his arc. Like if I was Jamie Foxx, I would be a little bit disappointed with the material they gave me.
Yeah, I would too.
And I almost feel like this movie wants to be more of like a Harry movie in a lot of regards because you get a lot more build up for his origin story as a villain than Max. And I honestly, I don't mind I mean, aside from the fact that they never really sell Peter and Harry's friendship very well, I don't mind the Harry being this like shamed son of Osborn trying to make a name for himself, but also save his life. He's a little whiny along the way, but I don't disbelieve any of it.
Yeah, yeah,
I think Dane DeHaan, I guess we talked about Topher Grace. Like I said that Topher Grace fit the version of Eddie Brock, the human character they wrote in Spider-Man 3, but
yeah.
not the Venom. And I feel the same way for Dane DeHaan. I think he is a good Harry Osborn.
And
He might have been a good Green Goblin if they actually had a better design for him and affectation. But again, transformation does not work.
yeah, and I feel like I don't fault like Dane DeHaan. I think he just like did the best with what he had, but it
Hmm.
was unfortunately like not a great execution, I don't think.
Um, let's talk though about while we're talking about characters, let's talk about Peter and Gwen, which again I think is the highlight of these movies, including this one. I think that their storyline in this one is a little bit annoying because I don't know. I feel like they're kind of worked before a lot about nothing, but their chemistry between the two actors is still there that I care.
Yeah.
And of course, they're still dating in real life, so it still works. I think at this point.
Yeah, I mean they're probably my favorite part of this movie. Like their relationship, even with how annoying it is that they're like, "Oh, we're not together, but we're friends, but I'm still in love with you." Like the will they won't they thing is whatever. Um and maybe that's to kind of throw you off because, you know, they kind of spend their time fighting in like a part in this movie, and then at the end she's like helping him with the electric grid, and you're like, okay, look, they're gonna work together and beat the bad guy and fall in love, and it's gonna be great. And then it's like, oh, JK, she's dead.
Yeah, that's one thing that these movies do better than the Raimi movies is that they actually make the romantic love interest an actual like impactor of the plot. You know, like in the first movie, Gwen is, you know, developing the lizard antidote, and this one she's actually helping Peter defeat Electro. You know, she's not just like a kidnapped damsel in distress. She puts herself into these situations and tries to find solutions herself. So I do like that about these movies.
Yeah, me too.
And although it is kind of annoying to watch these will they won't they when you kind of know that they are going to end up on the will they side ultimately. But I do like I guess from a macro standpoint, this idea of Peter feeling responsibility for Gwen's safety, especially after, you know, like if someone died in front of me and their dying wish, knowing they were dying, was for me to stay away from his daughter for her safety, and it was a valid thing, I would also have reservations, you know. Um, So I like that Peter has to struggle with that. And then I like also how Gwen ultimately says, like, no, this is my decision, not yours, you know? And I like that she dies not because of Peter's choice, but because of hers, you know? Like
Yeah.
Peter doesn't get her killed. She gets killed because yes, she is near the action, but not because he put her there, you know?
Yeah. Which, so, I mean, the movie does a really good job of just like throwing that right in your face. Because when he's like, you can't go up there, you can't come with me, she makes a very clear point to be like, I'm doing this. I'm an adult. This is my choice. I'm going to go whether you want me to or not. So it's like, yeah, Peter should like alleviate himself of that guilt, I think.
Yeah. So I like that. I like that arc for them, I guess I could say, but not necessarily the beats they hit along the way specifically.
Yeah,
I think it's a good overall trajectory, even though it could be probably smoothed out a little bit.
sure.
Although, can I just say, this movie made me so angry because you know when they're on the bridge, he says that like right before the finale, he sends that little love note, and they profess their love for each other. He's like, "I'm gonna follow you to England." You know, they got crime in England. They got Jack the Ripper. You know,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, yes, get me out of New York City. I've watched 5 straight Spider-Man movies where he's just bumming around New York. And I was so sick of it. And I was like, yes, move to England. I don't need Spider-Man is not New York reliant. And then they kill her. And I'm like, fuck, we're never going to get Globetrotting
We're never going
Spider-Man.
to get Spider Punk or whatever.
Not necessarily that, but like, you know, and actually we do the next couple movies, the Holland ones do that, thankfully. But um I was so ready to be done with New York. I feel like everything that can be said about Spider-Man in New York has already been said, you know? Anyway, quick little annoyance at the time.
I mean, but he is a New York hero.
Yes.
All right.
Again, this is not a very logical argument on my part. It's just an annoyance for me as a longtime Spider-Man fan. I just especially coming off the last movie where they had to like rehash like 8 plot points from the first Raimi movie, you know? Like I'm just like new stuff, new stuff.
Yeah. I no, I respect that.
Yeah. Um You know who they, speaking of Gwen getting more agency in this movie, you know who they tried to give agency to, though, and failed? Is Aunt May,
Oh, yeah.
where she's like, and I mean, good for you, Aunt May, for like, you know, working double shifts at the hospital and helping out people, you know, and finding purpose post being a widow, you know? But it doesn't help the story at all.
No, not really. No.
And that and the like what the air traffic control team with the planes gonna hit with the lack of power. Like even though like those two planes didn't crash and the hospital got back up and running, I guarantee you a lot more people got hurt because the power was out elsewhere in the city. Just because we didn't see it does not mean the next day headlines don't read hundreds injured and killed.
Yeah, probably.
Just saying, just putting that out there. I will say that I like the aesthetics of this movie, particularly towards the end, where I feel like this one, better than the last one, hits upon, I guess you could say, the colorful aspect of Spider-Man, like storytelling with the villains and the effects, you know? Like the Raimi movies are very grounded, I feel like, in terms of like real life Spider-Man. Whereas this one kind of introduced a more cartoonish. Not, I don't want to say it was cartoony, but it was a lot more vivid and vibrant. And I was
Yeah,
here for that kind of Spider-Man. Like that's what I mourn when I mourn like the Amazing Spider-Man 3 we didn't get, and the Sinister Six, is seeing those villains in that light. You know,
yeah, yeah. That would have been interesting to me. I would have liked that too.
I mean they're weaker movies on a whole than the Raimi's, but like the comic book nerd in me seeing like a new Spider-Man villain on screen is always exciting to me. And you know, again, like I wanted something new that we haven't already gotten before, and I kind of liked that it felt like despite the narrative rockiness of this movie, they found a good look eventually
Yeah.
for these, and then we lost it right after. Anyway, I think that's all I got for this movie. What about you?
Do I have anything else? Oh, Tim, we have to talk about your suit design.
Oh yes, okay, yeah. We really ragged on the last. Andrew was a little bit of a defender on it, but we really ragged on the last movie suit for being ugly as fuck.
And it was
this
really
one,
fugly.
this one, vast improvement.
Yes. Although I will say I don't like the eyes in this one. They're too big.
They are big. Yes, they are. They are bigger than normal.
They're almost like alien Martian-y eyes to me, but I do appreciate that they're not like you've said, like Oakley lenses.
Yes, I like that they're white. You know, Spider-Man to me has white eyes. It's just a thing. Like you can't really. It's like Deadpool with like you wouldn't give him green eyes. You know.
Yeah.
So and the suit itself, I feel like is also cleaner. You know, like the body of it.
Yes.
It doesn't feel so rigid and like forced. It feels. I mean, it's still not like Toby good, but it does feel a lot more like this is his suit going forward.
Yeah, I would agree.
Thank you for bringing that up. I would have forgotten to mention that because I think
You're so welcome.
that's a big reason why I like this movie a little bit more, at least to watch. I'm very on the fence with our rankings for this one with the last one, but we'll see where I land on that. But for watching this, that definitely helps. Okay,
Other than that, though, I think that's all I got.
yeah, let's move on. So let's move on to a release. So box office, this movie opens to $91.6 million, which today will be 128.9, a little bit low for Spider-Man. And again, we'll get into this being a dip in receipts. But let's do our top 10 game, Tanner. Before we do our Barbenheimer game for real this time, let's do our top 10 game because I don't want to reveal what you know, it's open against. But
Okay.
so again, I'll explain the rules of the game. I'm going to go on the top 10 for that weekend of opening release for the Amazing Spider-Man 2. Your goal is to pick the best movie among the top 10, not knowing what is coming next. If you pass on a movie, and I'll go in sequential order of the top 10, if you pass on a movie, you cannot go back to that movie. And once you take a movie, you are locked into that movie for the rest of it.
Okay.
So, Tanner, we will start with, since it's open number one, we will start with The Amazing Spider-Man 2 at number one. Are you going to take it or pass?
Pass.
Okay. And I should mention, this again, this is early May, the first weekend of May. So if you can remember kind of what was out around that time, that might help.
Okay.
So you're passing.
Pass.
Um, Number 2 that weekend is The Other Woman, starring Cameron Diaz and Leslie Mann.
Ooh. Tim, you're not gonna like me.
Oh, don't say it.
uh I'm gonna stay.
You're gonna take it?
Yep.
Tanner, I have the list in front of me, so I'm not gonna say whether or not it's a bad choice based on what's coming, but terrible movie. Just a terrible, terrible movie.
Nope, it's great. I'm taking it.
Oh god. The only thing I'll say about that movie is I like Leslie Mann in that movie a lot. I think she brings it. The rest of it. Okay, Tanner, so you passed up. So you were locked into The Other Woman. So you have passed up in week 3. Sorry, well, yes, week 3 in the third spot was Heaven is for Real, a faith-based, I think that's a Jennifer Garner movie, which I never saw. No, I'm sorry, that is not Jennifer Garner. I'm thinking something else. This is Greg Kinnear. Anyway, but yes, it is faith-based. Okay, you also passed up number 4 that weekend, Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
Oh, Tim, that's my favorite Marvel movie.
Well, you can't have it because you want Kate Upton, apparently.
Ugh, no, ugh.
And you also passed up Rio 2, Brick Mansions, which I don't know what that is, but Divergent, the first one. Speaking of Shailene Woodley. The Quiet Ones, which I think that's a horror movie with Emma from Bates Motel. Olivia Cook. Thank you. Sorry. Probably got a name. The Grand Budapest Hotel, the best Wes Anderson movie. And another faith-based movie, God's Not Dead, the first one. So Tanner, why were you wrong for not picking Captain America?
Well, I don't know. I didn't know that it was coming out, but whatever, Tim. I would say I was wrong too. I would have picked Winter Soldier.
Why is that your favorite Marvel? Like, when you say Marvel, you mean MCU?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I wasn't sure if you would count like early Spider-Man or X-Men.
No, out of like the Avengers saga.
Mm.
It's my favorite.
It's great. It's a classic, but you don't get it.
Right. You're just gonna make me feel bad about it, Tim. Why don't you just beat a dead fucking horse?
I already did that.
You can beat me with Kate Upton's chest.
No, I already beat a dead horse, Tanner. It was called Equus. Remember? You saw me in it.
Yes.
Rather,
Way to plug yourself, Vapid.
I beat horses dead, rather. Okay, so anyway. So yeah, this was number 1, going back to box office, this was number 1 for one weekend, and it fell to number 2 behind a movie I also know we saw together, Neighbors.
Oh, okay.
That's a good one. I like that movie.
Yeah.
We had fun on that. And your Barbenheimer movie, in terms of what this opened alongside, actually was not in the top 10 that weekend, so I guess I could have started with this, is Walk of Shame, starring previous Spider-Man alum Elizabeth Banks.
Oh.
Did you ever watch this?
No.
Neither did I. I feel like this one... Are you familiar with it, though?
Yeah, I mean, like, I remember it coming out. I just remember it being kind of like a B movie.
Yeah, I don't remember it getting very good reviews, and it didn't play very well, either.
Mm.
It's where she's like a news broadcaster, I think, and she has to make her way around town to get to her broadcast. I don't know. Anyway, but your Barbenheimer title for this one is Spider Walk.
Spider Walk. Spider Walk. Spider Walk. Spider Walk. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna say that's a subversive title.
Mm.
Because really what it's about is an up and coming trapeze artist who has to be nimble on a thread like a spider. A spider. Arachnicus Deathicus. Let's see. Yeah, that's what it's gonna be. Is it a female or a male tightrope walker? What do I
Hmm.
want? Female. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she has to like really prove herself with the carny folk.
Why?
Why wouldn't she? Because her parents were famous trapeze artists.
Oh, okay. So she's in the shadow of them.
Living in the shadow of her parents. It's her job to come up with a new act to save the circus, because as we all know, circuses are dying forms of entertainment.
Hmm.
So yeah, so she comes up with like a grand new scheme on the high wire to try and bring in crowds.
Okay. And who's playing her?
Oh gosh. I don't know. Like Catherine Newton.
Catherine Newton. Okay, I like that. I can see
Yeah,
that.
yeah, let's go with that.
Is this a comedy or is it like a drama? What is it? What is the genre here?
No, I would say it's more of a drama, maybe like a dramedy.
Okay, I like it. I like it.
Yeah. And she could like fall in love with the guy who like tears tickets.
Okay, now I don't like it. You just forced the love, unnecessary love angle into it. I'm no, never mind. Okay. Anyway, back to box office. This movie makes $202.8 million domestically, which today wouldn't even crack $300 million. So definitely a disappointment. It does not make the top 10 for 2014 that year.
Wow.
It's number 12. The number one movie might surprise you, though. Domestically, the number one movie was American Sniper, the Bradley Cooper, Clint Eastwood movie.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me though. I feel like everybody I knew wouldn't watch that.
Well, yes, but you also live in like that demographic that would appeal to them. You live in like the boonies. So,
True.
yeah, that movie made a 350 million, so a whole other 150. The movies this Amazing Spider-Man 2 is sandwiched between. At number 11, you have Dawn of the Planet of the Apes with just $6 more million, and Godzilla, the MonsterVerse kickoff movie, with just less than $2 million.
Oh.
Surprising that Planet of the Apes has better legs than this movie does.
Hey, that movie has Carrie Russell.
No, I mean, no,
We
it's a way better movie. Don't get me wrong, but it's just that if you would have told me that a Planet of the Apes would have performed better than Spider-Man, I'd be surprised.
That's true. Yeah.
Worldwide, this movie makes also not great totals. It makes just over $700 million, which is actually a bit below the last movie. So, yeah, Sony, in terms of rebooting this franchise after this, we're definitely seeing the tea leaves of diminishing returns both critically and commercially. It wouldn't even be $1 billion grosser today. Almost, but not quite. Worldwide, it is in the top 10. It's number 9 for 2014. The number one movie that year was Transformers: Age of Extinction, which made a 1.1 billion.
Ugh, which is crazy because it's so bad.
Yeah, that's the one that actually, like, I mean, it made a bunch of money, but it definitely killed the franchise after that.
Yeah.
Um, number 8 above it again is Dawn of the Planet of the Apes with just $2 more million. And below it at number 10 was Interstellar.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway. I'm so glad we no longer live in a world where Transformers is the number one movie worldwide. Far from it. So this movie has a budget of about $200 to $293 million. So against its $708 million budget, it makes a little bit. According to Deadline Hollywood, this movie makes $70.4 million. So not bad, but again, downward trajectory for Spider-Man as a whole from the last one. Again, critical reactions kind of the same as what we said before. I'm just gonna skip right over that. It was very mixed reviews, but the same kind of negatives and positives we mentioned. Scores online as of this recording, we have a 51% on Rotten Tomatoes. That is a franchise low for Spider-Man. and a 64% audience score. 53 out of 100 on Metacritic, also a franchise low. And a 6.4 out of 10 user, also a franchise low. A 6.6 out of 10 on IMDb. A 3.2 out of 5 on Letterboxd, that is tied with Spider-Man 3 for franchise low. And a B plus cinema score, also tied with Spider-Man 3 for a franchise low. So of the 7 metrics we list there, 5 of them are franchise lows.
Not a good look.
Nope. So yeah, definitely when you look at the numbers for this movie, I'm not surprised they decided to reboot it again.
Yeah.
And no accolades to speak of. This is way past the time of Spider-Man being nominated for Oscars. No one cares.
Or MTV's Best Kiss Award.
Oh, okay. Well, now that you mentioned, I gotta look and see if it got any of those. No MTV Movie Awards nominations or wins.
Tragic.
Some Teen Choice nominations, but I feel like personally, if you're gonna rank them, MTV is better than Teen Choice. Am I right? Okay, so let's move on to the legacy section of this podcast, the last section of this episode. So yes, they had lots of plans for Amazing Spider-Man follow-ups. They were going to do at least 2 more mainline entries. And I did find a couple of very curious plot points that we might have seen in Amazing Spider-Man 3/4. The return of Norman Osborn. So I guess Chris Cooper coming back somehow.
So he didn't die?
I don't know. Or they revive him somehow. I guess that's why the whole reason they cast him in the first place is promise of more. I don't know. And this one's going to really grind your gears. Gwen Stacy coming back, and not just coming back as Carnage.
What?
Yep.
Trash.
Yep. Symbiote saga ruined again. I mean, in the comics, Gwen Stacy is cloned after she dies. But the clone saga is like one of the worst, most derided storylines from the comics.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that either. Just let her be dead.
Agreed. Bring in Shailene. But they also canceled a Sinister Six movie, a Venom movie, which I guess was carried over from the original trilogy being thought of as a spinoff, a Black Cat movie, a Spider-Man 2099 movie, and they also had thought about doing a Tobey Spider-Man versus Andrew Spider-Man crossover movie.
What?
Yeah, again, a bunch of ideas that were probably just thrown at the wall as possibilities. Like there were so many of these Spider-Verse spin-offs that we thank God didn't get. I mean, as much as I wish I saw more of this universe, I mean, this is too much.
Yeah, I don't like any of those options.
And let's talk about careers in terms of how this affects those who work on these movies. And we'll do, since most of these people don't come back, Andrew Garfield, I feel like, blows up after this. He actually kind of gets back to being a good actor after this movie. And he's now an Oscar nominee for Hacksaw Ridge and Tick, Tick, Boom. So in that respect, I'm glad that he doesn't have to keep doing Spider-Man because he's done much better stuff since then. And so is Emma Stone, honestly. Like, fuck, like a 2-time Oscar winner since then?
Yeah, her career ain't struggling.
Nope. And she's at the point where she's like the next Meryl Streep, I feel like. She can do whatever she wants.
Well, she actually can't do whatever she wants because she sold a Yorgos Lanthimos. Now she just does 800 movies with him.
But that's what she wants to do.
Yeah, I mean, which is yeah, I think she's secured the right and earned the right to like just pick whichever project she wants.
It stretches her acting muscles. Jamie Foxx, I feel like, I mean, he's still doing stuff, but not as big.
Yeah, and I feel like his like resurgence that we talked about in like the 2012 to 2014 era kind of fell apart after this.
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. Maybe Electro has something to do with that. Dane DeHaan also on the downswing after this. They really try to make him a thing for a minute there. But then I feel like he does like Valerian, where he's the lead, and that was a complete failure. And that was the end of us trying to make Dane DeHaan a thing.
I just feel like Dane DeHaan's like not a good leading man.
No, well, he's not really likable. and that's why he works in Chronicle, is that you kind of pity him, but then you also dislike him toward the
Yeah.
end. And it might have worked here too for the same reasons. But yeah, you can't. He's not a heroic lead type, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I don't think this really affects Paul Giamatti's career except for memes, but I do love me some Paul Giamatti, and I'm glad we.
Me too. And like I told you, Tim, he could flush this right down the toilet because then he went on to do Downton Abbey.
I was gonna say he could flush this because they ended up doing The Holdovers, one of my favorite roles of his.
True, true.
Felicity Jones kind of also. This does not harm her rise. She's also a 2-time Oscar nominee at this point now. Although I feel like maybe she's a little still underappreciated.
You think she's still underappreciated?
Yeah, because like, what's her what is she known for? Would you say?
Bro, Rogue One.
Oh well, yeah, but even after
I feel
that,
like
I
that's
feel
what
like,
kind of brought her into like the mainstream household.
but that's only 2 years after this, and I feel like after that, she doesn't do a lot of big stuff.
No.
I mean, The Brutalist, she was great in that movie, but I don't know. I need more Felicity Jones, is what I'm saying. And Sally Field again. Where was our Sally Field Renaissance? I feel like this should have started it, but we don't get that.
Yeah, it's always a shame to me when Sally Field is underutilized.
And she's still great. I mean, I think even though Aunt May is underwritten in these movies, I think she's still great in it.
Yeah,
For what she's given.
for sure.
Okay, so that's all I got for careers. I guess we could also mention Mark Webb, the director of these movies. Eventually goes back to blockbuster filmmaking with Snow White, which is even a bigger disaster. But
Snow White and the Huntsman, or the new Snow White?
no, the one last year with Rachel Zegler.
Oh, puke.
Yeah, not good. But he also did after this. Did you ever see Gifted with Chris Evans and McKenna Grace before she's in everything?
No.
That's actually not a bad movie. I recommend that one.
Okay, Gifted.
I think he's a good director for 500 Days of Summer, Gifted territory, where it's like kind of indie, like feel good movies.
Like accessible indie.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's not nearly as good as 500 Days of Summer, but it's definitely worth a watch.
Okay, all right.
And that was when I was like, oh, this McKenna Grace, she's like 8 or 9, and she's so good already, Okay, so let's move on. So that's gonna do it for Amazing Spider-Man 2, Tanner. Let's move on to pop culture shoutouts.
What?
Let's move on to pop culture shoutouts.
Pop culture shoutouts.
Pop culture shoutouts.
Okay, mine's super weird.
Oh, okay, I like weird.
So I started watching this show. It's a British show called Celebs Go Dating. And there's this guy named Tom Reed Wilson who is like this British matchmaker to like celebrities. And I think I like fell asleep watching TV and I woke up and it was on and I was just like, what is this? Like, what is this weird thing that like Peacock recommended to me? And he sounds like his voice is like Julie Andrews or something. And I just want to like play. I want you to just like listen to his voice for a second, Tim. Listeners, listen to his voice if you don't know who he is, because it's insane. And I'm just like captivated by it. I want to just like lay in bed and like listen to him like talk. Because it's crazy. Here we go.
You are devilishly handsome. I don't know how I've never sort of drunk you in. It just must be the Welkin doing things.
I think you're perhaps a little delirious. Are you hungover, dear?
No, I think I'm seeing you clearly for the first time.
Oh, dear.
I think you're just a calcium deposit.
Well, he does this thing where he brings them to his like office and then he sets them up for like an interview. So he'll be like, what are you looking for in a partner? What do you like in like a woman or a man? And he had like, I don't know who this British celebrity is. So he's just like doing this interview and he basically stops because he's like, oh, you are like so handsome. So he's the one who's like, oh, you are devilishly handsome. And then the other guy sounds like a male Keira Knightley who's like, oh, I don't think so. I cannot. I like can't get over him. It's just like the craziest.
It's a bit like a driver in their car, sort of. If your soul is the driver and this is your car, you're
This
standing
one?
on the outside as the driver and you see the dents in the bonnet and you see the paintwork and you see the model of the car. But actually, when you're in the jungle, you're just the driver looking out at the view. It's just your lens goes out and it's all about what you see and what you're ingesting, and you forget about the car altogether. I didn't even look in the mirror once. It was extraordinary how the whole lens was out, out, out.
Anyway,
Okay, that's more helpful because that was only one voice.
yes. I just, it's like the show I don't even care about. I don't know who these British like reality stars are, but I cannot stop listening to this guy talk.
It's funny. I was getting like a Truman Capote vibe from that.
Yeah, maybe because it is a very like nasally, like effeminate voice. But to me, I don't know. If he wasn't British, maybe I would just be like, ugh, this is an annoying voice. But all I can think of is like it's an androgynous Julie Andrews. Anyway, that's my pop culture shout out. Go watch Celebs Go Dating on BBC.
I love that quote, androgynous Julie Andrews. And then like if you're looking at the DVD cover, it's like Richard Roper, Chicago Sun-Times, and androgynous Julie Andrews. Like
Yeah,
that's
that
the
should
review.
be, we would all be so lucky to have that Reddit eulogy. Yes, here lies Tanner, an androgynous Julie Andrews.
If you die before me, that's what I'm gonna say.
Thank you.
Yeah. Um, I was just visiting you and we watched a lot of movies. I thought for a second you were gonna talk about the Brady Bunch movies we watched.
Oh, I will for a second. You guys, Tim had seen the first Brady Bunch movie, and I had not, and we both had not seen the sequel. I'm in love. They're so amazing. And I knew they would be just from the memes.
Mm-hmm.
And really like Jan and Marcia carry those movies. They're the best parts of them. But if you guys have not watched like the parody 1995 and 1996 Brady Bunch movies, go watch them because they're so amazing.
Yeah, they're hidden gems. They're weirdly self-aware and self-parodic, I guess you could say. Like
Yeah, like it just makes it like really clever and funny that like for some reason the movies take place in like 95 and 96, but this weird family is like stuck in the 70s and everybody else is like, what the fuck is up with this family? And they're just like oblivious to it.
and they just act like they're on a sitcom all the time.
Yeah. It's so great.
Marsha. It's always Marsha. Why is her hair perfect? Let's go knock over a 7-Eleven.
We can't move schools. What about all my friends? But Jan, you don't have any friends.
I don't know a George Glass at our school.
I've never heard of a George Glass at our school.
Okay. I'm sorry. I couldn't let us go by and not talk about that. Just
No,
because
they're so good.
I knew you'd love them. I was like, Tanner, have you not seen this? Okay. I will talk though for my pop culture shadow. I will talk about a movie I just saw today. I actually saw two movies today. I saw The Furious, the Hong Kong action movie, and then I saw Disclosure Day, which I'll talk about that one in terms of like the big Spielberg movie. I'll be honest, I was a little bit hesitant going into this. I did not think the trailers made it look good. I thought it was going to be like a generic, voiceless kind of dredging up of Spielberg's older stuff. And I was delightfully surprised. I liked it. I got close to loved it. I do have some reservations. I think this movie does a very good job of recapturing that kind of Spielberg spirit of the 80s and 90s with like E.T. and Close Encounters of the Third Kind, what have you. It definitely
Okay.
feels very Spielbergian when you're watching it. And the intrigue of this movie had me immediately, like in terms of like the mystery behind it, of these aliens and the cover up and what's going on. Like the first half of the movie, I was wrapped. I think in a little bit in the act 2, it gets a little bit repetitive in terms of the plot and the characters running around each other for a while. But it's still a great time, and I think the ending is still pretty good. So I was I was definitely enthused by it. I don't feel like we've had a really good classic Spielberg movie in a long time. I mean, I think the last one he did was The Fabelmans, and that one was, I love that, but it's not like classic Spielberg, I guess you could say. So, Disclosure Day. It was worth it for me. Good original material in movies.
Well, good. I'm glad.
Are you glad to hear it?
You glad to hear it? I am. What is the next line? I am most glad.
No. I can't believe you don't know it.
I
No.
am glad to hear it.
Yes. There you go. Second try.
Okay, got it. What is that? Spider-Man 2? Spider-Man 3.
Tanner. Are you kidding me?
It's when she's in The Importance of Being Earnest.
Yes. You don't know which Spider-Man it's from?
It's Spider-Man 2.
Yes, it is.
I said that the first time.
I know, but the fact that you had to ask that.
Oh, it was just to seem less intelligent than I already am. For the listeners.
Okay. Well, you don't have to do that. This is the whole point of this podcast is for us to sound smart and important and haughty.
Okay, all right. Well, it's from Spider-Man 2, everybody, if you didn't know.
Okay. Sorry, I was genuinely concerned for your Spider-Man fandom for a second.
Never.
Okay, well, thank you guys so much for listening. Speaking of Spider-Man, we will be continuing on. We are done with the Garfield movies. It is now on to the Holland-Verse and the MCU at large. So next week, look forward to us talking about Spider-Man Homecoming from 2017.
Love it.
Yes, I'm looking forward to rewatching that one. I've only seen it all in one go since theaters, so that'll be fun for me. But guys, please, if you like us, like listening to us, please rate and review us. It really helps us out. And tell people you know about us, share us, do the things, subscribe wherever you listen to us. We are wherever you listen to us as well, pretty much. So, and you guys can get in contact with us. We have a email address where you guys can ask us questions at backtothefranchise.com, and we will answer them on the show. You can also get in touch with us on our socials. I am on Letterboxd at TGMacman, TGMACMAN.
You guys, I'm on the gram, Tanwill10.
And yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. This has been fun. Always a joy talking about Spider-Man, and I cannot wait to talk about the next ones too.
Me too. Very excited.
All right. Well, with that, we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.